Afternoon. Thank you so very much for staying until the end of the session. Yes, in fact, I met AMB online. He has read some of the posting that I made, and I have read some of the posting that he made. I wrote an article on financing the Cameroon mineral sector, and he approached me directly. I had no idea he was from Cameroon, and I made sure that I didn't disclose where I was from. And some of the idea that he put forward, I realized how interesting he was. And I told myself, if this guy is not a Cameroonian, I'm going to make him one.
Is that what you said to yourself?
Of course, there are many ways to do so. And eventually, this is the product. But our goal actually is not just to write reports on Cameroon, but it's mostly to write reports on Central African countries, especially French-speaking countries. Why? We don't have any intelligence out there on the French-speaking countries, on the wealth of the French-speaking countries. If you look at Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, there's so much research available out there. And that is the reason why they're attracting a lot of the funding we can. And when you look at the crisis of the financial market that happened recently, a lot of private equity companies pack up from America to go towards emerging markets. Why can't we attract those companies? If we don't have reports like that, or if we don't have people committed to leveraging Cameroon, it's not going to happen. Again, we are not going to depend on the government to do things that we can do. And that's part of the reason why we're here tonight. Okay, I'm going to talk very briefly about some of the minerals, and then I'll move towards the financial part. And I would very much like to have the ladies involved. Okay, I have a question for the lady. There's a mineral which is in existence abundantly in Cameroon. And that mineral has a world total production of 34,000 tons. We like that mineral a lot, especially when given by our men counterpart. What is that?
Girl's best friend.
Okay. You know, we can't have diamond all the time. Guys are cheap. What's the next guest after diamond? Whoops. Yeah, gold.
But we buy it ourselves.
So guys are? Okay, gold. So I'm going to talk briefly about gold. All right. I'm going to talk briefly about the usage of gold. Oh, guys, by the way, 78% of the global demand of gold is for jewelry. So you can't escape. Okay. I'm going to talk briefly about the usage of gold. Financial gold. As you know, every central bank in the world has reserve requirement. And some of the reserve is in the form of gold deposit. In America, for instance, the percentage is about 39 to 40%, and the remaining 60% in other financial instruments. That is to say that gold will always be valuable. If you have been looking at the news recently, yesterday alone, I was looking at the price of gold at the commodity stock exchange. Yesterday alone, gold jumped $14 in one day for the ounce. It's now at the highest record. It jumped $14. For the month of July alone, it jumped $27. So, and we have that gold. Those are some of the other usage of gold. But an interesting usage of gold is in medical. I'm sure many of us ladies have seen men with that appear to be very interesting. But when they open their mouth and smiling and you see the gold teeth, we're like, no. But it's not only in dentistry that gold is used. It's not only in dentistry that gold is used. I was pretty surprised when I was doing the research when I found out that gold can actually be injected. I have a doctor here. Gold can actually be injected to relieve pain of those suffering from tuberculosis and rheumatoid arthritis. Isn't that something? So no matter what, we use gold. Okay? Those are the areas in yellow where we find gold. Gold is highly represented towards Central African Republic. We have high deposit. So far, we have up to 52 tons. It has been identified up to 52 tons of gold in Cameroon. And today's market is estimated to be way above $3 billion. Again, I want to say this. It has been identified 52 billion tons. My guess is there's probably 3 times, 4 times that amount. In order for us to get to that number, there's a lot of resources that went into the mining operation, while the digging and the intelligence behind it. Okay. Here is a graph of the demand versus the supply of gold. This was done from 2006 to 2007, and we have a residual, a shortage of supply in 2006 of 64 ton, in 2007 of 219 ton. Currently, the shortage is 4 times that amount. Many of you have probably been watching the TV, the debate or the situation going on right now with respect to the U.S. debt. The longer this prolongs, the higher the price of gold is going to go. Because gold is a great instrument to have in times of uncertainty. Okay, this is the official gold holding in the world. You see, America here is the leader with the highest 8,000 ton. China, if you look at the month of the year of 2011, China increased its deposit requirement of gold by up to 76%. Since this statistic was taken, this figure has increased tremendously. I was approached by a Chinese company looking to mine gold in Africa, and trust me, they're very aggressive. Why? My guess is, as you know, China is the biggest holder of U.S. treasuries. My guess is they probably want to diversify from having so much reserved in treasury. They're trying to build up their stock in gold. So gold is not going nowhere, you know. We're still going to have a great demand for gold. Okay, this is just echoing what I just said about gold. This is also about the jewelry fabrication demand by region. Gold is the one commodity that is used in every single country in the world. So basically it's a great product to have. So before I move to the next commodity, I just want us to realize how rich Cameroon soil is. God has blessed Cameroon with a rich soil. And we should be committed in claiming that blessing. Amen? Amen. I'm only kidding. Okay, I'm going to move very, very briefly to oil and gas. As you know, there is oil in Cameroon. Currently, Cameroon is estimated to be pumping about 10,000 barrels per day. And if you look at the card of Africa, you will see that there's a lot of oil in Chad. Believe it or not, huge deposits have been discovered in Central African Republic. So Mr. Oil traveled from Chad, goes to Central African Republic, gets to Cameroon, and decided to take a nap, 10,000 barrels per day. Then shows up in Equatorial Guinea and party like a rock star, 100,000 barrels a day. How did that happen? Why is Cameroon pumping 10,000 instead of a higher figure? I'm not an expert. There is the expert. But as a financial person, my guess is we have got to get the resources necessary to encourage all mining operation. It takes money for wildcatting, it takes money for exploration and for production. My guess is there's a lot more oil in Cameroon. But instead, you and I are committed to get that expertise to leverage that sector. We just sit here and blame the government. Oh, the government is not giving an accurate figure. There's bound to be more oil. But what are we doing? All right. I'm now going to talk about the financing, how to finance those. I was going to talk a little bit about jam, but as Iyembe mentioned, we have mineral all over Cameroon, and I'm going to go straight to the financing part. Somebody who likes jam gold. He's moving to Cameroon, by the way. That's a friend of Iyembe. All right. Now that you know that we have gold, we have diamond, we have all those important minerals in Cameroon, what are you going to do with that information? Is there anything at all that you think you could do with that information? I'm asking a question. Can I have a lady answer the question for me? Is there anything at all that you can do with that information?
Start exploring investment opportunities.
That's all there is to it. And how do we do that? There's a very popular model in Cameroon called PPP. If we look at the recent Mobilong diamond site that was awarded to the Korean for mining and exploration, how did that happen? Basically, the Korean came with the know-how and the financial resources, and the government said, okay, you have X amount of money, we're going to give you the site, we give you a concession of, unfortunately, those information are not public, but I would guess probably 10, 15 years, give you a concession, and then you start mining. 10, 15 years, we're taking over. Hopefully there will be something left. And in the meantime, the Cameroonian workforce would have acquired expertise in diamond development. This is very, very popular in Africa, specifically in Cameroon. Does it work? To a certain extent, it does work. Why? Because the money comes to you without you making too much effort going after the money. Somebody, hand you money almost on a silver plate. But as most economists know here, there is no free lunch. That money might be easily accessible, but it's not cheap at all. If anything, it's quite expensive. So the model that I recommend, if I were to advise the government, is the following. Sovereign bonds. Cameroon discovered a deposit like, the Marbelang deposit, and he goes, okay, there we go, we have diamond there. How do we tap into that potential? The government can put together a sovereign bond program whereby they raise enough money to operate the operation. We can subscribe to the bond offerings. It doesn't have to be much, 50,000 CFA, 10,000 CFA. But the more people subscribe to it, the more successful it's going to be. The bond is going to be, has a maturity, let's say, for 10 years. So for 10 years, we will be receiving money from the government, coupon interest. And of course, a very important thing, they need to set up a sinking fund whereby they would put the money from the revenue to retire the debt. I would advise the government to raise money that would be equivalent to about 25% of what they owe to sell it in the local market. And I think it's a new way. It's not very popular, but it's cheaper and it's more effective. If I am to go one step further, I would advise the government to have a sovereign guarantee revenue bonds. When we look at the mineral sector, we realize that there's so many different minerals spread all over the countries. That way, we don't have to prioritize one particular mineral. We could invite people in. We could easily access money through the African Development Bank for that project. Take a look at the country, assess what needs to be done. Invite Moody's, the rating agency, Moody and Standard & Poor's back, and hopefully we're going to have a B+ rating. The money that would be generated from the bond offering would be used to finance the mining operation of different minerals. And this would help us to brand ourselves as a mining country and as a true innovative country in terms of capital. All right, what else can I tell you? Well, of course, the bond offering has to be attractive for the potential investors. I mean, if I am the government, I would personally put call options to it. What is a call option? Call option allows the issuer to call it in when it's more favorable. Let's suppose I do a bond offering for like 10,000 CFA, and the price of diamond keeps going up. I'll sell the diamond in the market, call the bond in, retire the debt, put the money in a sinking fund. The other side of the story is, what happens if the price of the diamond drops? How does the government protect itself against that? Again, everything is possible. The government could buy forwards in the financial market to protect itself against a decline. So we have all those hedging strategy available. I think I will end here. That's enough financial talk for the night. Thank you.